The year that passed has produced so many heroes, and many will grace this Sport Australia Hall of Fame in the years to come. Tonight, a bumper crowd, a sellout in fact, as more than 1,000 guests join us for our annual dinner, among them the very elite. As they make their way into the Palladium Ballroom, would you please welcome, led by our legends, a national treasure, our first female legend back in 1985, Dawn Fraser. Alongside her, Mr Football, Ron Barassi, and tennis immortal, Ken Rosewall. They lead a cavalcade of more than 90 members, and in this Olympic year, it is worth pointing out that we are welcoming 23 Olympic gold medalists. The greats have gathered, as they do on this night every year, to celebrate all that is fabulous about this sports-loving country of ours. As you can imagine, we have so many dignitaries and special guests with us.
Our home is good by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair.
Sport is the glue that holds this country together. And how true is that? Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome the President and the CEO of Etihad Airways and our major sponsor, Mr James Hogan.
Melbourne, sport, excellence. That's one of the reasons we took advantage of the opportunity to be the sponsor of the Sports Australia Hall of Fame.
Etihad Airways has enabled the Sport Australia Hall of Fame to give our rising sportsmen and women the opportunity to travel and prepare themselves for the full brunt of international competition. Tonight, we announce the 5 new scholarship holders. Already outperforming her new mentor, Olympic silver medalist, sailor Olivia Price. Her mentor is Olympic bronze medalist, but he did go okay in the America's Cup, John Bertrand. Two-time world champion cyclist, Alec Edmondson. His mentor, a 4-time basketball Olympian, Phil Smythe. Our first world mogul medalist, Vancouver Olympian, Britt Cox, and she will be mentored by world aerobics champion, Sue Stanley. A young lady who will be a cornerstone of women's hockey in the decade ahead, Jade Warrender. Her mentor will be former Australian netball captain, Liz Ellis. And finally, Brad Shaw. He leads the Pirelli Road Race Series. He's a star in the making on 2 wheels, and his mentor, we're that close to having him, is 5-time world motocross champion Mick Doohan. Since 1985, more than 500 of the greats have been honoured by their peers with induction into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame. Tonight, we will induct 8 of the very best. 7 times a premiership coach in the NRL. Would you please welcome Wayne Bennett?
I started to coach, and I wanted to coach to make a little difference and help those young men, and I still coach for the same reasons today.
And to make the presentation to Malcolm Speed, the marquee player during his reign at the NBL, Andrew Gaze.
Stephen Larkham, ladies and gentlemen, and who else to make the presentation? George Gregan.
There was nothing modest about Laurie Nash, a man who reached the pinnacle in Australian football and Test cricket. He called himself the greatest, and those who watched him in South Melbourne's glory days of the 1930s could do nothing but agree. Nash was the epitome of brashness on the cricket field as well. A fiery fast bowler and the scourge of visiting batsmen, he twice represented Australia, took 10 wickets at 12.8 and managed to rub up not only the opposition but the power brokers of his country's cricket as well.
And who better to induct Andrew Johns into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame than his fellow immortal, the King, Wally Lewis.
Our first Olympic road race gold medalist, Kathy Watt.
And I said, I'm going to chase everybody down. He said, what do you mean you're going to chase everyone down? Why don't you attack them? And I said, so that was, he kind of planted the seed in my mind that maybe I should attack in the race, which I did.
As a batsman and a wicketkeeper, he knew few equals. To make the presentation to Adam Gilchrist, another wickie who could hit the odd century, Rodney Marsh.
James Tompkins is inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame.
If we won, that was what we were supposed to do. If we didn't, it was a massive failure. So, you know, to get across the line, just incredible, incredible relief.
The Sport Australia Hall of Fame is without doubt the most elite and difficult sporting fraternity to join. Only the very best of the best are invited. We select just 6 athlete members and 2 members each year. And for a country with Australia's diverse and rich sporting success, this is very few indeed.
The winner of the 2012 Don Award is Sally Pearson.
Making the presentation, Petria Thomas, the winner in 2005.
Sally, it would be an honour to win the Don in any year, but an Olympic year just has that added bit extra, and particularly the company you beat, considering everything that Anna and Tom and Jackie achieved this year.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic, and I've been nominated twice for this award, and third time lucky I've won it. And against the competition I was up with tonight is a huge honour. I mean, especially with Anna Mears, you know, we've been through a lot together over the last 4 years, and I count her as one of my really good friends, and all the other contestants. I mean, well done. It's been a fantastic year for everyone this year, and especially with the Olympic Games, it's been a real high for everyone. I think for the general public in Australia as well. Really enjoyed it.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome our special guest representing the Prime Minister. As Federal Minister for Sport, she's shown a great love for her portfolio and all it encompasses, and we acknowledge her great support of the Sport Australia Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great delight to welcome Senator Kate Lundy.
There is a special place in our hearts for those athletes who take the kernel of a natural gift and through ambition and effort turn it into surpassing excellence.
Kate, I think it's just about time for Tony Charlton to come on the screen and tell us exactly who our new legend is.
Tonight, Susie O'Neill is honoured again, as indeed she should be. She is elevated to legend status in the Sport Australia Hall of Fame.
And to make the presentation, Senator Kate Lundy and Etihad's James Hogan.
If you look back now, what's the one? What's the one race? What's the one thing you did in the pool that you'd remember as your finest moment? The one that meant the most to you?
It's a really difficult question. I can't really decide between two. Winning my first Olympic gold medal in Atlanta was absolutely amazing. But when I broke Mary T. Maher's world record in Australia was also a really enjoyable experience. So it's probably out of those two.
We look forward to flying first class with you again on Etihad at the 2013 Sport Australia Hall of Fame. Good night, everyone.